Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing tonight on this good, I don't even know what day it is. Lord Jesus, I was on vacation, y'all. Which is why I could not get myself back into the swing of things. I was on vacation for a week. So my vacation threw me for a loop. Then yesterday I was on the beach all day long. I got all burnt. Y'all see how dark I am? I'm looking a little red and good, but I was on the beach all day and I got like sun exhaustion. So I actually am kind of super tired today, but I didn't want to wait too long to do this. Today we're going to be talking about Nelly and Ashanti. All right. And I wanted to do it. You guys know, real time, I don't care much about celebrities and their lives. I use it for entertainment, but I don't really get too invested. I feel like they got their money, they got their life, they got their family. I'm trying to get mine. So the only time I like to use them is not because I'm trying to spew the gossip, but I care about celebrities' lives for reference points and teaching purposes. Because they are known by the masses, we're able to see things in real time that people, podcasters, influencers are able to speak on, not just for a gossip session, but to actually help to, heal and bring awareness to the masses. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is, y'all, I don't want to talk about them because I think they're doing pretty well. I've watched the show. I've watched quite a few episodes and they just seem really happy to me. So I'm actually happy for them. Anytime that they do an interview and a mother who says, me and my daughter are super close. And I am so happy that she's back with him. And I am so happy to see her smiling. And I'm so happy to see this and see that. That kind of speaks volume. So first and foremost, when the mama is happy, normally, and she's like a Ashanti protector. Like, I'm her momager. I take care of everything. I make sure she's okay and happy. If she's happy that she's back with that man, I'm confused as to why we as the masses have a problem with it. Now, here's the thing. They have celebrity lives too. They have real life and celebrity lives. So they have to deal with not only regular life about things happening in regular life, they have to deal with everybody scrutinizing it. I wish the little girl didn't do the show. I'm be honest. I wish she didn't do the show because too many people are looking into now her personal and private life. Okay. But the one thing I want to do, because I want to jump right into this because I don't want to keep y'all long. I want to jump right in. I want to speak to women really quick. Because we have a problem. And I'm going to tell you what their problem is. We have a problem with, okay, I'm being nice. I'm going to hold y'all hand when I say this. Real tight. We have a problem with like hearing information, right? We hear information. And we have a habit of like jumping out the window, or we jump off the ledge. That's what my family says. Like my family calls it jumping out the window or like jumping off the ledge. We hear something and we get such a connection to it, good or bad. We judge it, right? We get a feeling about it and then we jump out the window. So we need to learn something. One, we need to hear something. Then we need to sit back. Digest the information that we just heard. Give it a moment. Digest what we heard and then speak. We have a habit of hearing something and then just going with that. No, because first of all, did y'all hear what Nelly said about da-da-da-da-da? Nobody sat back to really sit and think about what he was saying, what she was saying, what he meant, and what she meant by what she was saying, okay? We have a habit of speaking through our own trauma. We have a habit of seeing something that reminds us of what we went through or what we didn't go through, because sometimes it could be a judgment of hierarchy. So it's one of two things. Either we see it, we judge it through our own trauma, our own baby father leaving us, our own baby father leaving us abandoned, our own person saying, hey, listen, I ain't helping, I'm not doing all that. And now you feel away. Now you hear it said again, it triggers you. I get it. I understand. But I'm still hold your hand when you say this. Every situation is not the same. And I'm going to spiritually tell y'all what I think. Okay. So not that y'all care, but just it's enlightenment here. Okay. We're here to evolve. We're here to be enlightened. We're here to not place blame on one party or one sex. We are here to own that neither one of us ain't shit, okay? Girls or guys right now. Everybody just out here trying to do their best, okay? So most times we have a habit of speaking through our own trauma, but we have to be careful with that because we end up spewing it to the masses. Why would we see a newly married couple and spew negativity on them like sprinkle, sprinkle? Like here, let me just give y'all this negativity from my life, okay? Why are we speaking these things on people? Words are powerful. Intentions are powerful. And yet here we go. We watch something, and instead of just watching unbiased, instead of just watching and being like, let me think about that, we immediately say, oh, they're going to get divorced. Oh, they're not going to make it. Oh, did y'all hear she got a shrink being with him? That girl was doing this and that, and now it's just sad to watch. Like, oh my God, can we just calm down a bit? Don't speak ill over someone else's family. That is not okay. My good sis, Natima. Sidebar, y'all. I meant to call you, but I was getting prepared for this. So I'm calling you after this because you have me dying. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm bad. I love my good sis. So just spewing ill repute on people's lives and their marriage, okay? So ladies, that's not right. Words are powerful. We got to know that they're powerful. We got to know that our words manifest. We got to know that our words have intent. Stop just saying stuff about people, all right? It's not pretty, it's low vibrational, and it's not godly, okay? So I had to hold your hand when I say that, but period, okay? We're not doing that anymore. It comes a time where we got to rise up above what our flesh wants to do and say sometimes. Sometimes it'll behoove you to just shut up. Okay, let's just not talk. Because if you don't have nothing good to say, remember what our mom used to say? Don't say nothing at all. Okay, got it. All right. So, not to mention what I'm understanding and what I'm saying is that a lot of people that are saying she should not be back or should not have spent the block are usually single. They don't know how to relate to men. They haven't related to men in a long time. And they couldn't keep their own. Okay, and that's anybody included. Like, I'm not even above that. Okay, even though I didn't speak negativity, I just watched it unbiasedly. Okay. So people are filtering this through their own trauma. That's what I'm noticing. And I get it. You see something that reminds you of what you went through or what you didn't go through, and we have an opinion. Got it. But another thing that bothers me about women, I'm going to hold your hand again when I say this, is that we have a tendency to have double standards. Okay. And we have them a lot. Now, y'all, granted, guys have been having them lately too, but I'm not talking to guys. So please don't get up here and be like, guys do that too. We're not talking to men, right? This is our divine feminine space. This is how we could be better individuals, how we could grow as people, right? So we have this idea that it's okay for us to have double standards, but not men. So we will say something to the effect of, I'm never taking out the trash, and ever, because that's for real. I'm never doing it. Okay, back. I'm not touching the trash if a man lives in the house. If a man is in the house with me, I'm not touching the trash because I don't want to. And I am not going to expect him to get the back part of the toilet because he's not going to do a grand job of it. Okay. So, the back part, you could clean the rim and everything like that, but the back part of the toilet where you got the crevices and stuff, I'm not going to expect the man to do that because I'm going to do that because I'm going to do a better job. So these things are okay. If I'm in a car with a man, I'm not pumping the gas ever. What do I look like getting out, pumping the gas when there's a guy in the passenger seat with me? And I don't care whose car it is, we're driving, mine or his. I'm not getting out to do it. That's crazy. But for whatever reason, it is okay for women to say things like that. But if a man says something that they're not doing, oh my God, God forbid, we are up in arms. We are crazy about it, okay? And we got to stop doing that, y'all. We cannot do that any longer. It is getting played, okay? So, like if Ashanti had said, well, I just had a baby, I'm never touching the trash, nobody would have said that. Nobody would have said nothing. We would have been like, oh, good for you, girl, because feel you, clock that. Soon as, y'all, we have to stop, okay? It's not cutesy no more, all right? We not cute to the men no more because we're wilding. The double standards are getting insane. So it's weird to me as women that we want equality until we don't, okay? We want it to be fair until we don't. We want it to be a certain way until we don't. And then once we don't, it's like, no. I don't want to play this game no more. No. Sis, you're in the game now. We got to play this game. Okay? So let's talk about it real quick. The internet is in an uproar about the fact that Nelly done told her that she got to have a lot on her plate. Now I'm looking over here because I'm quoting, right? That she is going to have a lot on her plate until she had this baby, until this baby get a little older. Okay, I heard that. It didn't cringe me when I heard it though. And I'm going to tell you why it didn't cringe me a little later as we get into it, but it didn't cringe me, but it cringed a lot of people. I can't stand to see it. He said though, he will hire as many nannies as she needs, but he's not waking up in the middle of the night to change a pamper and to feed the baby or whatever. And y'all are calling her a single wife. Come on now, y'all dragging it. Y'all dragging it now. Come on, sisters, we're dragging it. She's not a single wife. Stop it. Stop it, okay? And a lot of people are saying that she's shrinking because of him. Wow, this man had two stipulations. One, I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night and change the baby diaper and stuff. You might have a little more responsibility to the baby, get a little older. And after that, I'm taking him. Okay? That's what he said. She's not a single wife at all. That man supports her emotionally and mentally. I saw it. Emotionally and mentally, he is there for her. Okay? She asks something, she needs something, he's there to talk to her, support her, walk her through it, talk her through it. Let her feel in whatever situation she wants to feel without judgment. I have never heard that man one time say how she is supposed to feel. All he does is listen, acknowledge, and take it in. That's it, right? He made a couple of draws of line in the sand. He said, one, we talked about this before we got together and before the baby, that I will not be moving to New York because he's a country boy. He said he don't feel like he fit in. And he's not going to be doing a lot of the newborn infant baby stuff. Now, I did not hear anything wrong with that because one, if they had talked about something before they got married and before they had a baby, come on, you got to eat that now because he already said that he was not going to move to New York. But guess where they at, y'all? Guess where they live in New York. Because he's still doing what he needs to do to appease her. Because he said the baby is new. This is where her family is, where her home base is, where she feels safe and supported. So we're going to do this for now. And people still saying she's shrinking? Wow. I'm really trying to find it here. I'm trying to be with y'all, but I can't. Because even though he's like, yeah, I'm not moving to New York because I'm a country boy. I live, out there. They're in New York right now as we speak, living, while he is there supporting her, living in New York where she feels safe and secure and comfy. I'm trying to figure out where the shrink is. But if somebody know, do tell. Write it in the comments for me and we could get a good dialogue going, okay? All right, so all I'm saying is after the infant phase, he's saying basically when the baby could walk and could talk in his potty training, I got him. He gonna be with me. That's gonna be my little partner. Gonna be with me all the time. I was thinking again, I'm trying to figure out where is there a bad deal in that? Where is there a bad deal? So you saying in the beginning, it's nothing, it's contractual. You're saying in the beginning that I have the baby a lot, but then in the all I gotta do is about a good 20 months. And then you got him the rest of the time? Somebody please tell me where this is bad. Most don't read the whole story, sis. They read the headline and take the clickbait. No investigation or evidence-based research to support their bias and opinions. Exactly. Because I feel the exact same way. You take the clickbait, you go with it, you create a narrative. Stop doing that, y'all. We have to stop doing that. Social media has become the bane of our existence. I said it already, okay? I'm trying to figure out. So when somebody can enlighten me on how this is a bad deal, you let me know. But I am going to get a little deep with y'all today, okay? So let's speak a little bit to postpartum here as well. Because I know a lot of women are like, in the beginning, when you first have the baby, you have a lot about postpartum, da-da-da-da-da. You need your husband the most. Okay, let's go there. Because I experienced it twice. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But a woman going through postpartum normally needs the man for her, not the baby. Taking the baby is only a symptom, is only like putting an ace bandage around your postpartum. The postpartum is not going to go away whether the baby is there with you or not. Now, yes, if you are doing something like you want to harm your baby, this ain't for you, sis. This is a whole different topic for a whole nother day. But it usually, when you feel postpartum, you feel ugly. You feel like you had something growing inside of you. Now nothing is there. You feel empty inside, dark, a little deep. And sometimes the baby crying can do a lot to you too. But again, this man said he'll hire as many nannies as she need. So I'm still trying to find the problem, because if we're going to use things like that, he's not saying he's going to be the one to do it. He's just saying, I'm going to find a solution though. Because right now, that's not my era, okay? So let's just be a little bit clear. I'm going to give y'all a little, just like a eye opener really quick. Just a nice barometer between the two. So I'm the part owner of Dolce Academy, right? There's always a division of labor in everything. Jobs, businesses, households, there's a division of labor. That's how it works. That's the only way it actually can work. So we're a corporation, which is essentially like a family. A family is like a corporation as well. So when I became her partner at Dolce Academy, we had to sit down and we had to come up with roles and responsibilities for both of us, okay? And we had to come up with each partner's roles, and then we had to sign on the dotted line and agree to those roles together, right? So essentially it's deeper than this, but like I handle the day-to-day operations. I handle the send homes, who's late, what's happening. I handle certain things with student issues and direct, fast, whatever needs to be done. That is what I deal with. I deal with it on a day-to-day basis. That is my job, all right? She handles reports and compliance with federal things, government loans, student loans, FAFSA, NACIS, all those things. When I have to do something, we don't cross each other's jobs unless we ask. I don't know if y'all are listening, but don't let it go over your head. We don't cross each other's jobs unless we ask permission. So for instance, I had to write an email to one of the students based on something that they had done, which had an issue to do with compliance. I said to her, I'm about to draft this email. I'm going to send it to you first. May you proof it, add whatever you like to add, take out whatever you like to take, and then I will send it. The other day, well, a couple weeks ago, she wanted to come up and give a chat to the students because they were acting up, and she didn't want to take me out of my class. And she called me, she said, listen, I'm going to go upstairs and do like a little powwow, like a little huddle with the students. Do you mind if I go up there and do that with them? And I'm like, why would I care? But she's like, no, I'm not stepping on your toes. This is your school. That's your role. And I said, well, can I be there? Of course you could be there. So again, these are roles that we have that we don't cross, although we run the same business and we run it together. Okay. All right. So this happens in every other organization, but for some reason we have a problem with it when it comes to family. Why is that? What is the problem? Can we just talk about it a little bit? Like, what's the problem when it comes to family? Like, why we have an issue with roles? And now I'm not talking about gender roles. I'm talking about who's better at what roles, okay? And we're going to get into that too. So there are certain things I don't do unless it's necessary, y'all. I'm not getting underneath the sink. Never. I'm not getting underneath my car, ever. I don't really need to open the hood if there's a guy there. I'm not taking out the trash. I'm not bringing the trash bins to the front so the big trash people could get it. Now, granted, I can do all those things because if there's no guy here, I will do it. But if there is, that's a part of the role I'm just not signing up for, sir. I'm sorry. And 90% of the time, I don't really want you in the kitchen cooking either. You don't gotta be, because I am willing to do that every day outside of the days that we say we want to go out. But I'm willing to be the person to come home, cook every day because you had a long, hard day at work. I had an easy day at work. I'm going to come home and cook. Okay. So there's a thing. So I'm going to give you an example of what me and my ex used to do. So my son gets out at noon on Fridays and I don't get out of work until 3:30, but that's my son. I feel like the kids are the mommy, mainly. Okay. God, husband, children, wife, children. The wife is the manager of the children. So in my mind, that is my role. I don't really ask him to step into that unless he's there for the structure of the overall haul, right? So my son gets out at 12. I get out at 3:30. Every Friday, he picks him up. But they usually do their parent-teacher conferences on Friday too, which causes me to either have to get out of work early or go to work late to do it. He decided to start doing that. Every time he does that and he calls me and tells me what happened and what the teacher said, I always thank him. And he's like, why are you thanking me? That's my son. Because in my mind, that is my job. That is my role. 9 times out of 10 too, it's my job to filter the information before it gets to you, because I am the mom, and we're going to get into why this is going to be very important moving down. Okay, why I take this so seriously, because I might need to filter some of that information before I give it to you, because you might be too hard on the structure and the discipline if you hear the wrong thing, not having it filtered through the right lens. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example, y'all. I know that Nelly said that didn't bother me or cringe me at all. I want to know why, because I don't prefer a man changing the baby's pamper. I mean, let's just think about it, y'all. I mean, let's just be practical. Let's be realistic here. One, they don't do the best job. Men could barely clean the sink off, and you want them to change a diaper, because that's a deal breaker. That's crazy. She's shrinking, and he needs to be ostracized, and this is crazy because he doesn't want to change a pamper. Men don't do the best job changing pampers. Two, especially if it's a girl, there's fat legs and crevices and things, and you got to wipe certain ways, and you can't wipe from back to front, front to back. There's rashes, there's irritations, there's yeast. Why do you want him to change the baby? I'm just a question. Now, this is me. I don't prefer it, but I would really like to know like what the issue is, because that's not really what they were meant to do. Okay, so again, if I'm not around and they have to do it, the same way I feel like if they're not around, I shouldn't have to pump gas. It's the same thing. So if I'm not around, and yes, he has to do it, but if a man is willing to pay for me a nanny to do it, because I'm gonna tell you one thing, Ashanti barely changed that baby. They have a nanny during the day. Ashanti has the baby, but she barely be doing the hard work. She do the cuddling and the breastfeeding. Okay, she doesn't do a lot of the hard work, and a lot of times that nanny's holding that baby so he can sleep. So this is where you call, mother, sister, auntie. This is the issue with society now. We don't have community anymore. Okay, we have gotten rid of that long term, and we want the man to assist us in our roles when the other women in our lives used to help us do that. Grandmamas, aunties, great grandmothers, father's mothers. Those are the ones that would come, and they would actually come stay with you for a little while to help you with the baby, so that the husband could go out and do the work like he's supposed to do. Now we have gotten so equality and this and this and that, and we're the same, and I work too, and now we want the men to do what we're better at. I am so confused. I really am, because this is not okay no more. Okay, like, they're not good at that. I hope we're actually realizing that they're not good at that. Yes, that's so true. Paternity leave is new. They just started that like maybe a few years ago. Before the early 2000s, most men were back at work while the wife was on maternity leave caring for the baby. Dolo, solo. Yes, because that was me. Home, caring for the baby. He went right back to work. I was home. You know what? I went and stayed at my mama's house for a couple of weeks, because why not? Because my mother, the baby whisperer, they know what to do. I was like, wait, I'm crying. My stomach hurt. I don't really know. The baby crying. I'm crying because I'm tired. That's where you enlist community, because the father normally had to go back to work. Oh my God. Secondly, let's be clear. Ashanti's breastfeeding, y'all. So the baby is 100% attached to Ashanti right now. And babies that breastfeed usually are not attached to anybody else but the mama. It's the weirdest thing. They love their mama. They don't want nobody else but their mother. And they don't want to be fed by anybody else but their mother. You have to train them to want to go to someone else, or to take a bottle from someone else. And sometimes even that's traumatic, because they won't take it until they're starving, because they prefer for their mother to feed them from their bosom. All right. And then thirdly, Ashanti's OD attached to that baby as well. She barely even lets Nelly hold the baby. He said it. She OD about the baby. It's Nelly's fourth kid, fifth kid. It's her first. Now, two of them are custody from his sister that died, but he still has them. And he just like, my parenting style is don't kill yourselves and don't need to call the ambulance. And she's like, no. So she's very attached to her baby. The camera can't even get nothing but his feet and hands and maybe his ears. Other than that, Ashanti's not even letting anybody see the baby. Okay. So I'm going to get metaphysical here. Okay. There's a distinct reason that there is an order at hand, and this usually is not the man's role. One, naturally, okay? This is now we're talking spiritually. We're not talking Nelly and Ashanti right now. We're talking life, okay? Naturally, it was never meant for men to handle newborns, ever. Just look at their hands, right? If you look at a man's hands, their hands are bigger and rougher. And they were never meant to handle such a delicate creature in general, right? That's number one. You ever notice that men can't really hold newborns unless they're swaddled or wrapped? Because the baby would literally slip right through their hands. They don't have the same receptors in their fingers and hands that we do. Why? Because they're supposed to work the ground with their hands. So again, we're messing everything up. They are supposed to be out there doing, working, digging, building. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Their hands are not supposed to have receptors in them like ours. They're supposed to be rougher. They're not supposed to have as much feeling in them as we do. So why would I want the man with his big, greasy, rough, calloused, worked hands? Now, granted, we're not talking about Nelly and Ashanti right now. We're talking about think primal here. Why would I want the man that is supposed to build to handle my newborn? If somebody can answer that, I would love that too. The man that was put on this earth to build and develop and till the ground, why would I want that hand on my newborn? Just FYI. That's why they had the mamas and the aunties and the great grandmamas, and those are the people that had the baby when you did not. Okay. Two, the way that a baby eats is naturally supposed to be from us. We in Western civilization have created bottle feeding so that the daddy could help. Daddy wasn't never supposed to help with that. That wasn't their job. The milk comes from us. The baby's food, their number one source of nutrition comes from us and no one else but us. We were never supposed to have help with that part. We just come up with new innovative. If we pump it in something else, then somebody else could give it to the baby. And then I could go do my own thing. No, we were meant to be with our babies for a certain amount of time. And I'm going to tell you why too. I just don't want to get ahead of myself because, y'all, I get ahead of myself. So the father was never supposed to feed the child, okay? Men were never supposed to be a part of the natural early development of a child either. So metaphysically, spiritually, let's get a little bit deeper here because this isn't about Nelly and Ashanti anymore. I need y'all to understand that. People that are just joining, this isn't about Nelly and Ashanti anymore. This is about spiritual enlightenment. I'm not here, again, about celebrities in their lives. It is about growth for us as women and growth for us in our femininity and growth for us in our spiritual and metaphysical awareness, okay? Teaching moments for us. So let's talk about something very important here. We have to take advanced examples from. So even in the animal kingdom, the female does not allow the father near the children when they're born. And there's a reason for this. Why? Their primal instinct is too strong. So even in the animal kingdom, the father can't go near the cubs ever. Not in the beginning. Because their primal instinct is too strong for the cubs or the babies, right? So I'm referencing my notes right here. So this is rooted in instinctual intelligence, which is why we as women have lost along the way trying to have equality. We've lost all of our femininity, y'all, trying to be equal. We've lost our natural intellectual instinct as women trying to be equal, okay? So we have a direct correlation to the exact principles for why animals don't leave the father with the baby. Number one, the natural reason is protection from harm or predation, even if it's from the father. So females normally isolate to give birth. Then we come back into the fold and we nurture alone. And there's a reason for that, because it ensures focused safety, right, on the baby or the cub's early development. And that's for us as well. So this may blow some of y'all away, because some of y'all may throw this all away as hogwash, like, girl, you saying anything. And some of y'all, this is going to make so much sense that it's going to align so much with your spirit that you're going to be like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. The second reason is energetic preservation. Okay. Everything is energy. Everything is spirit. Everything physical is a reflection of what goes on spiritually and energetically. So males bring testosterone-driven energy to every situation that they bring themselves to. Every single one. They can't switch to estrogen in the back of their head and go, oh, I'm about to come deal with the baby and be softer and what. They're not going to do that. They're still going to bring testosterone-driven energy to the baby, which has driven energy, movement, dominance, and expansion. That is what their energy represents, right? So newborns and moms both require nurturing, stillness, bonding, and intuitive regulation with both of their bodies when an infant is born. We just took the baby from inside of us to outside of us. That baby is still a part of us. That baby still feels like it's a part of us, okay? Vice versa. So we need all the time in the world to nurture and bond with that baby spiritually and energetically for us to understand one another. That's why moms always know why their baby is crying. Moms always usually understand if they have been intuitive with themselves and are pretty spiritual. They always know why their baby is crying. They be like, oh, there's nothing wrong with them. I know that. They know that cry. They know the hurt cry. They know the hungry cry. They know the wet, soiled, pampered cry. They know the whining, I just want to get out the bassinet cry. Moms know their babies cry. Why? Because energetically and spiritually, we are attuned to them. And we're attuned to them for a reason, okay? The male presence, even if it's loving, can disrupt the frequency needed for pure attachment and growth. So even if the father is too involved in the beginning, it can still disrupt the regulation between the mom and the baby that needs to happen for a certain period of time. Okay. Another thing we need to realize about women is that we are the gateway between spirit and earth. We are the only ones that can bring spirit into physical body and bring it into the world. Okay. So we are the gateway. When that baby is born, it is pure spirit. It's nothing else. Pure spirit. Its spirit is weak and its body is weak. They don't have an ego that protects them. They don't have a hard shell and bones that are hard enough to protect them. They are the weakest creature on the face of this earth when they first come out, all the way up till they are about a year and a half years old. Okay. So they don't have anything that protect them. They just get here and need to be protected energetically and spiritually. They have to be protected. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, so when I first had Terrelius, right, he was about 3 weeks early, almost 4. And I had him by myself and he was okay in the hospital and everything, right? And then I get him home and he's not eating. He's sleeping the entire time, the entire day. Now, first I was souped. I was like, oh my God, my son is such a good baby. He sleeps all the time. Then I realized I couldn't wake him up to eat. Couldn't wake him up to do anything. I would change his pamper. Normally you open a pamper, you open the blanket and babies cry because they're cold. He would not do it. I take him to the doctor and they tell me that he has a failure to thrive. Okay. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? And so obviously if you work in the health field, you know, a failure to thrive means that a person doesn't want to be here anymore. And that's essentially what the doctor told me. She said, I don't know what to tell you. Your son doesn't really care about being here. You're going to have to, I don't know what you have to do, get him naked, put cold water on him, but you're going to have to do something to rouse his spirit because he is too comfy going back, if you know what I mean. And I said, oh my God. I go see my life coach about maybe 2 weeks later. She doesn't know anything about the failure to thrive with my son, but I had him with me. And she said, oh, your son's energy is very pure. And she was like, who's in the house? And I said, well, it's me, you know, his brothers, but they're not there a lot. They're usually in school. And I was like, and his dad. And she was like, he needs to get away from his dad, like right now. She was like, and I don't mean leave the home. I just mean you might need to take a little break until your son gets better because his father's energy is overpowering his. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? No. And she was like, no, I'm telling you that that's what's happening. That is why your son is failing. He doesn't want to wake up. He doesn't care to be involved in whatever the energy is. He doesn't care to be involved in it. Now, there was no chaotic energy. There was no fighting. There was nothing. I was calm. Everything was good. But it was the energy alone that was depleting him. And I said, oh my God. Sure enough, I went and stayed with my mama for 3 weeks and he got better and started eating and my mother started feeding him. I was pumping, but my mother started helping to feed him and he got better. I explained this to my sister because I was reading something to her the other day about it. And we were out one night, and I said, my sister is like an empath. She can like feel things a lot, and so am I. And when you have that gift, you can feel people's like energy and pain and vibrations and things like that. And so we were out, and she was so anxious, so anxious. It got so bad that when we were leaving, her knees were actually wobbling. Like she said, her legs were weak. That's how bad that she was just anxious about whoever was in the environment was just not good for her, right? And I was like, think about how you were. You're a grown woman that knows how to ground and protect herself, knows how to pray, understands even what's going on. And even your knees were buckling under that pressure. I said, think about an infant baby that just came into the world. Think about how you felt that day. And then think about, coming in from work with it. Because here's the thing, men don't realize their energy is their energy. Women can transmute it. Babies cannot. They can't. So let's say a guy goes to work and he has a hard day at work, and he come in the house, take his boots off, sit down. I just had a hard day. And let me tell you how this guy trying to take my job and da-da-da-da. Testosterone driven energy has a lot of embodiment to it. It is a lot for an infant child to take and try to transmute, because it cannot. It is too weak. It can't do it. Okay. So in nature, women channel life, nourishment, and sensory awareness with the baby and guidance. Our instincts are precise with a baby usually. Something got to be wrong with the woman for her instincts to not be precise. Like I'm saying, extreme mental health things going on. But for the most part, women's instincts are precise with a baby. Men's are not with a baby. That's why he said, which I agree, when the baby is walking and can talk, say some words, then I got them. Because that is when they can bond. That's when they bond. We bond in the beginning. They bond toward that when they get a little bit older. So her instincts are precise. This is why the mother can hear the child even whimper. You ever be sleeping, you got a baby and go, you're like, whoa, okay, it's up. All right. Even in her sleep, she can feel the baby move. Even if it's the slightest movement in the bed with her. She's hyper aware of her child's presence all the time. So if something happens with the baby, you're aware. You're like, oh, I'm not about to roll over on my baby because I know the baby's there. Even in your deepest sleep, you cannot forget that child is next to you. Do you know how many mishaps that there have been about men just coming in the house from work and literally rolling over and smushing their child, suffocating it to death? Okay? They're not meant. Everybody ain't able, and they're not. Now, they can be trained to be, absolutely. But at the same time, it is not their natural instinct. It is not their natural gift. And I don't know why we keep pressuring them to move outside of their natural gifts. Men's energy is too strong for an infant baby to be around all the time unless he is operating in his feminine. It will overpower an infant's energetic code so fast, and the baby won't have an ability to fight through it, hence SIDS. They've had SIDS around for years. And SIDS also came around when we started trying to have equality too. When we wanted the men to stay home with the baby. And then the baby just goes to sleep one day and never wakes up, and they really don't know what happened, hence why it's called sudden infant death syndrome. And they used to say, well, no, it's because the baby's sleeping on the back. Then they turned it around and said, no, don't put the baby on the stomach. That's not why. It's not why. Spiritually, they're supposed to be with their mom. Their mom's energy can sustain them until they're old enough to sustain themselves. Okay? So when a woman gives birth, there's a period of seclusion that her and the baby must go through. And this is to hold the frequency needed for emergence of the child's spirit. The child's spirit has to emerge on its own. But the mom helps to cultivate that spirit to emerge. And it imprints her emotional and empathetic codes, which is why the baby needs both mom and dad. Because when the baby comes out, it needs its mom's energetic codes and the empathetic codes in order to survive. Now, essentially, the baby is working off the mom's energy early on in their development of life. until it's strong enough to cultivate its own. So unless a man is energetically aligned with the safety, stillness, and stewardship of the woman that's required, he will be a potential disruption in the baby's spirit, period. So he has to actually align with the woman in order to be able to deal with the child. That is the only time ever where the woman actually takes the lead in the relationship, is with the baby, when the baby is born. Okay? So the dad or the king or whatever you want to call him doesn't get access to the child unless he first aligns with the frequency of the mama. Okay? So the mother is the initiator of life. She governs the nurturing. She governs the intuition. She governs the boundaries. And then the father becomes the protector and the builder of the world that the child steps into. So the mom, again, is the initiator of life. She provides the empathetic and energetic codes for the child to be able to sustain until it can cultivate its own spirit. She governs the intuition. She also governs the boundaries of who can touch and see and be around her child. And then what the father does is the father is the protector and the builder of the world that the child steps into. So Nelly's not out of order, y'all. That child needs to be stepping before Nelly's role is in place. His role is not in place right now. And most masculine men know that. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of men say that. A lot of the masculine men say the same thing. Like, nah, it's not my role right now. Yeah, they're going to hold the baby. He holds the baby, talk to the baby, kiss on the baby. But he also understands that this is her time. You got to take this. This is your time. And I'll hire as many nannies as you want who could come in here and assist you with this time. And the moment that that baby can walk, it's going to be with me, because now he's going to be the protector of the world that his son steps into. Now he's going to be the, no, don't do that, son. Yes, we do that, son. No, we don't do that, son. When a baby's an infant, there is no code that a father can imprint at that time. What we just be wanting them to do everything like us. Like, do you want a man or do you want to be married to another woman? Because we're not the same. His role is not your role. Your role is not his role. They are very different, and they are very put together and put in place on purpose, okay? So he's in order, y'all. He's in order. The feminine creates the safe world, and the masculine protects and maintains the safe world. Simple. We create it, they protect and maintain it. Different roles. Not the same, not alike at all. This is the only area where the roles, again, I'm going to say, will seem to be opposite, because it seems like the woman takes the lead in this role, and in this particular role, she does. But just like in any corporation, you got to recognize the strengths and the weaknesses, and when, who, and what could take the lead when. Listen, if they say it's a relay race going on, and then when we get to the top, there's a food contest. If I can't eat a lot of food, but I can run fast, why would you be like, no, I'm going to do the running, you go do the eating? I'm not going to win that part. I can run fast. Like, the us trying to switch things around is actually what's messing everything up, all right? So when we try to make that father and put him in the mother's role, we essentially put the child in spiritual danger. It's not worth it, because the man is too strong. He's too powerful. His energy can be too erratic as well. And it'll damage the child in ways that we will never know or understand, because his energy can break the child's spirit before it even begins to form. They ain't supposed to be around like that. Sorry, y'all. Babies need to be around the divine mother, the divine mother energy, period, which means divine mother energy is usually mother, grandmother, great grandmother, if still alive, and aunts. And that is until they are a toddler. Then the masculine gains access to them, and then they can be around the father the grandfathers and the uncles. There's an order here. There's a hierarchy here, and we need to start honoring it. I don't make the rules now. I'm sorry. Okay. This is the divine order. I didn't make these rules. I just know that. And I saw it happen with my own son. Like, I saw it happen. I was like, and I kind of had figured it out too on my own before my life coach said it. But once she said it, it was so much confirmation. I said, oh my God. I called my mother on the way home. I said, Ma, can I come stay with you for a couple of weeks? And she was like, and I didn't even tell her why. I said, I just need a little help with the baby. I just been really tired. I had hemorrhaged a lot during my birth with him. And so I was very weak. I had to get a couple of blood transfusions, and she knew that. So I just kind of chalked it up on being a little weak and things like that. But I knew why I was doing it. You know what I mean? So essentially, y'all, Nelly changing a diaper should be the least of Ashanti's worries right now. Like, girl, take that small L. Okay? Call it a day. Get you another nanny if you want somebody to wake up in the middle of the night with you. Now he'll wake up and support her. But she was like, you can't even hear the baby. And we don't understand why it was never meant. The divine order was never meant like that. We hear a child whimper. The baby could be screaming. They won't even hear him because they're asleep in such a deep sleep. They're like, I don't know. I can't hear it. Which means it's not their role. Naturally, we gravitate toward the things that are for us. And it's just really that simple. I wish women would stop jumping off the ledge and jumping out the window saying that this woman is a single wife, saying that this woman find you a man that want to be a father. Come on, that's taking it too far. It's taking it too far. Just because he said he don't want to change a pamper, a diaper with crevices and a little tiny penis with the same thing he got, why would he want? Why does that mean he don't want to be a father? How did we translate the two, one to the other? Because he said you don't want to change a diaper. But he'll help support her. He'll help pay for the nannies. But I'm just not doing that part. But then when you get to this part, I got him. You don't even have to worry about it. Live your life, boo. I'm just trying to figure out what the issue is. I'm just trying to figure out, okay? So she needs to take this small L. This is what's best for the baby anyway, y'all. Like, let that man hire him another nanny. Let him hire him somebody else. Let him get her all the help she needs. Call her mom over, her best friend, cousin that be coming over. And get more divine mother energy and play in the house for you. And then you won't be worried about it so much. But that girl gonna be all right, y'all. Because I ain't never seen somebody smile as much as I've seen that girl smile. I've never seen nobody laugh as much as I've seen her laugh. She is fully embodied, fully supported by him, fully seen by him. He's always there, no matter what she needs. Even if it takes him out of his way to do it, he's always there, always complimenting her, telling her how much he loved her weight gain and how much the baby did her body good. And meanwhile, everybody on the internet's calling her a single wife and saying that she's shrinking underneath him because he won't move to New York permanently and he don't want to change a diaper. Ladies, we got to do it. Okay? We can't keep doing this. We can't. We cannot keep spewing and projecting and yelling our idiosyncrasies to people and thinking they sound good just because we went through some trauma with our baby daddies, or just because we didn't have to go through that because I took 6 weeks off, but so did my husband. He took 6 weeks off to help me too. And so now you look at that and you're like, what do you mean you're not going to change a diaper? Like, what do you mean? Listen, everything ain't for everybody. And like I said, I don't want a man changing my baby's diaper anyway. Like, you don't even know what just give the baby. You don't even know, just give the baby. That's why most women are super protective of the baby anyway. You don't even want to hand it to the father half the time. You're like, here, oh God, no. Let me tell y'all, I got so many stories. I hardly ever let my first husband hold my first son. That was my baby, breastfed him, my little everything. And the one time I was so tired and I think I was pumping or something. The baby was crying and I said, his name was Anthony. I said, can you go up and get the baby for me, please? Because I can't run up there. I got these things on. And he's like, oh yeah, I got him. He went and got him out the crib, had socks on, was coming down the stairs, and fell down the whole flight of stairs with my 2-month-old baby. Now, granted, I always give him credit because he took the L. He was falling forward and he threw himself back so that he caught the brunt of falling down the stairs. So his back was all bruised and bumped up. And I didn't care. I came, I said, oh my God. I run over there. I'm like, I hear the noise. I come. He's at the bottom of the stairs holding the baby like this. I just grabbed the baby, like, oh my God, my baby. And walked away. I don't even remember if I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Because I was just like, my baby. So I'm telling y'all, I'm telling y'all, it ain't meant, okay? It ain't meant. Let the men use their hands to do what God called them to do, which is build and develop and till the ground and make it happen and get out there. And I will stay home or stay in another room or nurture this baby so it could not be around your testosterone-based energy that can actually shut theirs down. You know that in the animal kingdom, sometimes the father even kills the baby. That's why the mom keep it away from them. Just out of sheer, they just kill it because they don't have that level of attachment to it until it's older. And there's many times that even in America that has happened with men as well. So it's our job as a divine mothers to protect our children. And one of the protectors is actually maybe not allowing them to change the diaper. And we'll go from there, okay? With that being said, y'all, I am done. I'm going to go and lay down and let's wait for this thunderstorm so I could get me some good sleep. And don't worry, I got another good one next week. Y'all will see, but I promise you it's going to be good. I will talk to y'all later. Thank y'all so much for watching, listening. Share the replay if you like, and I'll see y'all next time.